Hello friends and welcome. Today I want to address a common question I get. When should supports stop trying to split push lanes? Recently, there's a trend where a lot of people are telling supports that if you want to climb MMR in solo ranked games, your cores are bad, they're not pushing lanes, so you should do it. You should just find a lane, shove it down, and start chipping down enemy buildings because the enemy team is bad. Everyone's bad. Everyone's bad, so you gotta push the lanes and you gotta win the game on your own. And that's kind of true. But at some point, it stops being true. So what is that point? That's what we're here to tackle. Right here, Jakiro sees that his team is trying to kill Lifestealer. I would say he has to teleport here. Why? What is making me say that instead of trying to push out this top lane on his own? Look at the time of the game and look at hero levels. To give you guys a general rule, around level 20, when your cores start hitting level 20, well, anyone really, as long as people are hitting level 20, you should start prioritizing joining your team, even if they're doing dumb stuff. You kind of just have to go with them because kills become very important around this time. Zach, why is level 20 so important? I'm so glad you asked. Let me ask you a question instead. How long does it take to run down the mid lane? Not feeding. From your base to the enemy. How long does it take? What about one of the side lanes? Well, obviously it depends on your move speed, but if your move speed is around 355, it takes about 30 seconds to run down this lane. And it takes about 50 seconds, it's actually 48, but let's go with 50, that's easier, right? 50 seconds to run down one of the side lanes, and they're mirrored, so it's about the same. Why does that matter? Well, at level 20, your death timer is 75 seconds. And that means no matter where you are on the map, let's say you're the Radiant, you die in the enemy fountain. You have 75 seconds before you respawn. They have time to get to your base, and then they still have time to take buildings. Of course, if your tier 1s and tier 2s are up, those buy you some time, which means it becomes all the more important to be with your team when you start losing these towers. So for example, mid and this bottom lane for the Radiant have no towers, which means all the enemy has to do is run down the lanes. They'll kill creep waves as fast as they get there because they're farmed. They have high-level spells. And when they get here, they take buildings. This is why level 20 is really... it doesn't really matter, honestly. I'm giving 20 to you guys as this rule of thumb. But at some point, the idea is that your death lasts so long, the enemies simply run down and kill you. So here, Jakiro didn't TP, didn't really expect his team to feed and die. I get it. It's not really even feeding. He just didn't really expect the enemy team to maybe kill them all like this. But he still has to go. Because it works the other way. If they kill Lifestealer, he also has a really long death timer. And even if he's the only one that dies, your team has a chance to go and take buildings. So now he's getting the runes. He's going to go back to split pushing. I would say this is also wrong. Sorry, Jakiro. You have to TP down here before they get here and try to macro pyre, kill this creep wave. Because if this creep wave dies, they only have a bit of time before backdoor pops back up. And until this next creep wave until this creep wave joins in, it'll take them a while to get here. Because these creeps are alive, and they aren't dead, well, actually, they're going to use Fortify now, so they will die. But you'll see by the time they die now, backdoor still lasts for a while, and then creep wave, incoming, and when it gets here, it's going to disable the backdoor again. So now they start hitting buildings. Backdoor is now up. Uh-oh, canceled. So actually now they're good to go. So if he had killed that first creep wave, that would have been better. That's when, like, split pushing doesn't matter, right? Jakiro's not... Who cares? Jakiro's going to take this tower, and Jakiro maybe going to get one set of racks. Storm is still dead. Storm could have been the only person to die, and you still can't fight this. You're not going to fight 4v5 at this point in the game. You shouldn't. So, as long as Storm is dead, one single core is dead, the enemy team could have done this. They could have done what they're doing. They ran down the lanes, and now they're taking buildings extremely fast. And this is why you're split pushing as a support, unless you're Shadow Shaman. He's like a very unique situation because his ult destroys buildings pretty quickly. If you're not Shadow Shaman, if you're any other support, split pushing lanes, even if you're Shadow Shaman, your potential is to get one set of barracks, and the enemy could get multiple sets of barracks. And that's why it ends up being more important for you to try, if you see your team trying to make a movement, or trying to get your team to make the movement, to fight. Because if you get any kill, you're allowed to simply run down the lane and take objectives, because death timers are so long. Look, Storm's up, but the other guys are dead. They're still dead. So Storm can't really be making this movement. Now he's dead. It doesn't even matter. Even if he had lived, they still can't fight because Weaver and Tide are dead. As long as anyone is dead in the late game, your base is at risk. And that's why split pushing doesn't matter. All that matters is finding a couple really good kills, and then you'll actually just get all the buildings. Maybe not all the buildings, really. It's hyperbole. But you'll get a set, which is more than a split pushing support can typically do. And so that's why you should stop pushing or split pushing as a support at that point. You can still do it a little, but once you see your team doing something, you got to TP in, help them, try to get that kill, get the lifestealer kill, or protect your team so that they're not all killed, or at least you all die together and then you just lose right there, right? But at least you were part of that, and that's a little better. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Go be with your teams past, I don't know, let's say 30 minutes and when your core's hit 20. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Bye.